are back live in the studio. Thank you for joining us today. I'm your host, Stephen Lake, with the Messenger Studios, and today we have a nice-sized group in our audience. Even have a live studio audience. Where you at, studio? Yeah, in the background. I know, right? They're all in here clapping. But the guest group that I have is from an amazing group in our county. One of a few that I like to talk about because it's a real problem that impacts all of you. And it's getting bigger and bigger every day, the way the drugs are coming across the border. But the Brandenburg Outreach, and today they're right here. They're all on the show. Let us see. Wave. Yeah, there you go. And I'm lucky to have April Downs in here. She is the head chief in charge. She's running the whole thing. I think you're using baling wire and duct tape right now.
I am.
But we also have special guest Abby Carlisle. She's from Rockport, Indiana. She is a participant in the program. And Allison Zicker, who is from Brandenburg originally, and she too is a participant in the program. And I mean, they are doing amazing things in their lives to change something that has impacted them greatly, not only themselves, but also their family. And I can tell you that from my own personal experience and my family structure, drugs impact everyone.
Yes.
I don't care if you think it doesn't, it does. It's as bad as alcoholism or any other type of dependency in our nation, and it is impacting every family household more and more every day. But I want to say thank you, girls, for the courage for coming in here today. I know we're going to get to your testimony, but April, tell us about what the outreach program is doing. We've opened the doors. We are up and running. Let's go.
We are ready to hear and help. We can house up to 12 women right now to get them break free from addiction, using the Bible and teaching them what God is doing in their lives.
Amen.
They have a story. They don't have a future till they get in the ministry with God. They learn the Bible. They learn the book. They learn that God is his biggest support that they need.
Amen. That's awesome. Yeah. I know that as a participant of Journey Church, a member of Journey Church, and on the worship team, I see people's hearts changed every day on that stage. They come up and they just pour their hearts out and give it to God, right?
Yes.
And I know that you're partnered with more people than just Journey Church.
Yes.
Can you talk about your partners that helped bring this to Brandenburg?
We have several. We have individual monthly subscribers that give us monthly. We have Heartland Christian Church that partners with us. Any church, any person is able to come in and help. It takes $1,700 a month per lady, and it's only by the grace of God that we have the done. It's not in it for the money. We just want these ladies to break free from that cycle.
Yeah, Journey Church is also one of the sponsors.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
they started us. They brought us to Brandenburg. They gave us the original.
Talk to us about how that all happened.
Pastor Ryan actually went to Adult and Teen Challenge and sponsored the first $50,000.
Okay.
4 years ago, it was to be built at Journey Church. The broke ground, COVID hit, price of material went up, and the dollhouse fell in the laps. The lady that we purchased the dollhouse from gave us all the beds. It was fully furnished when we got in. We did have to go, and we do have to make some code changes. So we're still taking those responsibilities and changing those. It's been a long process, but we are now open for 6 weeks.
Yeah, so you're right off of Old Mill Road, so I like this. Take me down to the Old Mill Road where I, can grow some more. I know I'm making it up, but yeah, right. So you guys are right off of 1638, just before the dollar store in Garrett Road, as you climb up the hill from Otter Creek. You can't miss it. The Dollhouse actually was a consignment shop. It's been all kinds of things, but this is probably its most historical presence in the community.
I hope that we can just do this county proud with everything that we hope to do and accomplish in that location.
Absolutely. So, and now you've been open. How many days have you been open? The doors have been open.
We opened April 17th.
Yep.
We have been open right at 6 weeks.
Okay. And then, Abby, how long have you been in the program?
I came on May 9th.
Okay, so how you count the days, or how do you? I know you're clock ticking it somehow. Tell me how that is.
We go by weeks. So,
okay.
Next Thursday, June 13th, will be my 5th week.
Okay.
So.
All right. And how's that going so far?
Oh, it's great.
Okay, good. And then Allison, how about you? How long have you been in the program?
I got there on April the 17th.
Oh, right when the doors cracked open.
Yep. I was
Okay.
the first person.
You know, Allison, it's got to be a struggle when you come to this point where you say, hey, I want to do this. I need to get better. Can you please help the community understand where you were, how you got to where you were, and then how you got to this program? Can you talk us through that whole thing?
Yes. Last August, I got arrested for my third DUI, and I spent 8.5 months in jail. Before I went to jail, when I first got my first DUI, and before I went to, I'm just going to share my testimony.
Sure.
My name is Allison. I'm from here in Meade County. I was super excited to share with you because there's a need in the county, okay? And I was a good Sunday, Wednesday Christian for a very long time. I took my kids. My kids were raised in church. I got baptized in 2020 with my youngest at Radiant.
Mm-hmm.
And praised him. I got arrested, and I did 2 weeks from June the 26th to July the 10th for my first DUI. I thought that was rough.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't. And
So you were loving the Lord, you weren't living with the Lord.
yeah.
I get you.
And then I read the whole Bible from August the 5th to December the 21st. And that's when I got completely broken in Meade County when I did my 60 days there before I did 6 months in Hardin County.
Mm-hmm.
And I was broken, and I just couldn't get enough of him. I loved him. Everybody in the cell knew I was a Christian because I was reading my Bible. I was praying for him. I had that glow, and I was alive.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and then I got out in April, and I knew I wanted to go to the dollhouse. I knew I wanted to go to this rehab because I'd heard about it for over a year.
Okay.
And I was like, it's in my hometown. This is where I know we have the need for it at.
What were you hearing when you say I heard about it? What was it that drew you to want to have this experience? Because y'all are on lockdown, man. I mean, you left prison, you're out of prison, and now you're locking yourself back down. Most people would be glad to get out of prison and you know, woo woo, and Holy Spirit activate, especially, right? But you're looking for more of it.
I wasn't ready to. I wasn't institutionalized, but I was not ready to. I couldn't, honestly, I didn't get the coping skills in jail that you get here. I mean, when you're in jail, you're just in jail. And then I didn't get I wasn't ready to go out and deal with what life was throwing in my direction at the time. So then
talk about that. What do you mean life was thrown in your direction? Because you come out of jail, there's a lot of things that it's like fix and repair daily, right? I mean, family, all the problems that happen, right? That's a real struggle. You can't just brush that off. If you want people to really understand that struggle, because you came out of a problem.
Yeah.
You identify you had a problem. The courts did their part. You know, I'm sorry that you did this, but this is what we have to do. You did it. You did your time.
I did.
And now you're out. But people hold it over your head and they judge you.
Oh, they do.
Yeah, and that is not easy. Talk to me about that.
As far as not dealing with things that were going at me, I have a kid that lives in Colorado who doesn't talk to me as often as I'd like her to. Mm-hmm. And I also got divorce papers at Christmas time. So I had a lot of things to come out and deal with. So, yes. And but God's got all this. I mean, He is amazing, and in my heart of hearts, I know I was delivered not to drink. Mm-hmm. And today is 10 months. So
yay.
10 months.
Hey, hold on. I got an effect for that. Where's my studio audience? Come on now. Yeah, there we go. That's great.
But yes, today is my 10 months.
And yeah, I think that with alcoholism, it's a lot different than drugs because the addiction is a lot of times a disease. Yep. Alcoholism is a disease. I know several people that are alcoholics. They say, I'm an alcoholic. And you say, well, okay, so you drink a lot. No, I'm an alcoholic. I don't drink. well, how can you be an alcoholic if you don't drink? No, to understand the problem, alcoholism is a disease, and you have to face it every day. I'm an alcoholic, and that's why I don't drink. Because if I do, I'm not going to be the same me that you know, and you got to let it go.
Yep.
And sometimes it's great to have that encouragement of Christ in your life and know that you can have the strength. But with strength also comes weakness.
Oh, yeah.
And it's hard because those low places still exist, and they're probably right in front of you every day. It's like walking down a smooth road, and all of a sudden you step in another pothole.
Yep.
And then there's another pothole. And then you think, well, it looks smooth, but I keep stepping in all these potholes because it keeps coming back to me. You know what I mean? So with you being in this house, how has that helped you? You said coping skills.
Coping skills, yes. You know, it's and I don't know if coping skills is a good answer for it. It just like I can, whenever the thought crosses through my head, it's like, you know, I've got that person beside me going, hey, don't do it. Ain't worth it.
Not
Don't go back
today.
into it. Not today, Satan. Try again
Yeah.
tomorrow. So, but yeah, I mean, even like,
Y'all stay pretty busy during the day, right?
yeah, we do classes during the day. And
Okay.
yeah.
And what kind of classes are y'all doing?
Private study classes through the Bible. It's through the Bible. We're not just a rehab center. We're a discipleship of Christ.
Yep.
So they learn a lot. They learn, you know, the Bible in and out to where
It can be very confusing to read the Bible if you don't know
Right.
the context behind the stories and the passages and stuff like that. That's why people sometimes screw it up, because they twist it into what they think it's supposed to
Right.
mean instead of what it actually meant, and understand the history behind what was happening in the time period. I think that's what's a great thing Pastor Ryan does for our church, is he puts you into a time period
Right.
so you understand what was happening, so you understand what the words mean at the time, because there's a lot of words that they didn't know how to say in English back in the day that were in multiple different languages. So that's fantastic. You do that, but how does that fill your day?
Like we wake up and after breakfast we always have chapel, so we like play music and get like awake and stuff, and then we'll listen to a sermon
Okay.
about, like, we've been on one called relationship goals. Like, you have to, it's better to be single and find all your meaning with God before you go join as
That's
one.
right. If you can't have a relationship with God, it's very difficult to have a relationship with another human being.
Yes.
I'll testify to that.
Yeah.
I'm terrible at relationships, but I was always terrible at a relationship with God. Until I changed that part, things became a lot easier. So you're not alone in that, and that has nothing to do with addiction, but that has just common sense, because a lot of us probably that have been exposed to trials and tribulations, let's just put it that way, either through childhood or through adult experience, sometimes we suck at relationships. You know what I mean? I think that's fantastic that you guys are teaching that.
and then trauma.
Oh yeah.
Trauma is the number one cause for an addiction to start. You want to bury that burden. You want to bury that pain. And, you know, we've got to learn to deal with the trauma and know that it's in our past stories. We're not going to the next chapter. The next chapter doesn't have to contain the trauma and the pain.
That's right. Now, you guys are a female-only
Yes.
organization. I would love to see that we get one for males. That would be awesome, because we have lots of males that have this problem too. But Abby, coming from Rockport, Indiana, how did you hear about us all the way up there?
Okay, so I was in a program in Louisville back when Adult and Teen Challenge actually come to Brandenburg. Like, I remember when Pastor Ryan gave the $50,000 check.
Okay.
So I completed the program back then, and then I ended up relapsing. And then it was like, well, I'm going to try Brandenburg this time.
Okay.
So that's kind of
All right. So what was your addiction?
meth.
Okay. Yeah, that sucks, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So tell us your story.
Well, so I actually am a preacher's daughter.
Okay.
So, but I didn't meet my dad till I was like 17. So I went through like a period where I was like, my dad was like a preacher at this point. He had gotten clean and he had all kinds of kids, and it's like he was a great dad. So I was like, well, I'm against God because, you know, he's a dad to all these other kids, but not me. So I wanted nothing to do with it. I started doing drugs at like 20. I had my first kid at 21. He got really sick with meningitis at a week old. They told us he wasn't going to make it through the night, and then my preacher at the time came up there and prayed over him all night. And I remember his dad was like, why is this guy up here praying all, like, God's not real? And then the next day they told me my kid was healed and he was a miracle. So I was like, well, then I believed in God all the way. But I also had a lot of like childhood traumatic stuff, like dealing with being rejected by my dad. So even though I knew God, I would go to church at my dad's church and I would get high before I went, you know, and nobody knew I was getting high, you know. And then I just started running around with the wrong people. And then now I have 3 kids, and it's like all kinds of stuff just happened at once. And it's like I have to get away. I have to get clean for my kids. I have to do what's best for them. I have to stop worrying about everyone else. So I was like, well, I'm going to go to Brandenburg Outreach and work on me for a little bit.
Okay. Where are your kids now?
I'm with my friend Melissa. She's
Okay.
great. She has my kids. They're perfectly well
Is
taken
it
care of.
fostered or adopted out?
No, it's just like foster.
Right
like
now?
they're just,
So you have a
yeah.
chance to win the back
Oh, yeah.
in the court system. That's good. I would encourage that. You know, the outcome of me as a family member, I have our 3 children, but there's a commitment requirement that you have to want to be here.
Yes.
You can't make somebody come be here. And I think that's the toughest problem for families who are faced with members of their family who have this addiction, because how many times did they try to tell you what you needed to do, or how many times were you embarrassed to even talk about it with your family?
A lot. Actually, like, so I was like the black sheep of the family, like on my dad's side. I remember my dad would like preach sermons about like the bad, you know, like the child that couldn't get clean and, you know, but, and like turning to him, it's like he would always be like, well, you're back to your old ways. Like, I'm not helping you get out of this. You got to do it on your own. But actually, I have a great support system with my mom. My mom has always been there. So
I just know that we can tell. Well, I know that you can't give to the problem. You can't like just throw money at it and make it go away, because all you're doing is enabling.
yes.
Right. So I get tough love, but you still need support. Like you need to
Yes.
know that they still love you and care about you. But I think that's where the pride gets in, and then they want to deny. Because I deal with that right now with my own niece. That is the original mother of these children, but she got so far out that the court she's already had all of her chances. She's struck out. So too was the dad. You know what I mean? They're both Cahooligans, and the stress of the relationship is that there's a dominance in the relationship, the battered and abused, right? And then the drugs on top of it. So I'm sure that there is somewhere in this story, there's probably lots of abuse.
Yes.
And in both relationships. I don't know how you get out of that, but I can tell you that it does take a strong and powerful person to get to the point where you say, I am going to do this for myself, and you're willing to cast aside the pride, the doubt, and the wonderment of whether or not you can turn things around. But now you're in it.
Yes.
So what do you see as your future?
I actually just got news like a week ago that once I'm done with the program and I get a house and back on my feet, I have my kids back. Like, I've completed my case plan. And it's crazy because for like a year, I was cheating the system. Like, I was passing a drug test every week, but I was getting high every day. And they're like, oh, she's doing so good. And to me, I'm like, no, I'm not.
You're
I'm
clueless.
drowning. Yeah, I'm drowning right now.
The ability to validate the stuff is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And you're lying. And they know they're lying. If they're addicts, they know how to skim the system because they're checks and balances. They don't have enough people to support the type of resources I think an addict needs.
Yes.
You talked to me, is it Casey's Law we talked about?
Yes, it is
Yeah,
Casey's
so we'll talk about that in a minute. But I think you both have, I know there's more on that piece of paper you want to talk about. And the story is real. I don't know how I can convey to everybody out there in the audience that these 2 people are very courageous. They're courageous.
Yeah.
If you think they're not, become an addict. No, don't do that. I'm just kidding.
Don't do that.
No, don't do that. You don't want to be down the road that they've traveled. I'm really kidding. You don't want to go down that road. It is a miserable road faced with potholes, many, and some are so deep that you don't. There's no rope and there's no ladder to get out, and you're scratching and climbing just to find the light of day. And then when you can't find it, you seek the addiction just to hide it because you don't want to face it anymore.
And these two ladies are lucky. Both of them have a family to support them.
Good.
Some of our ladies don't. They don't have anyone. They come with the clothes on their back, and that is it.
Yeah.
They have no driver's license, no birth certificate. We have to do everything.
Wow.
And so when they do have families, we welcome those families to worship with us on Sundays. Whatever church we go to, families are welcome, because a family that worships together stays together at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So it is very important. Abby's children comes.
Yeah, my son and daughter went to the altar on Mother's Day by
Okay,
themselves,
good.
7 and 5 years old.
Wow. Pray.
Allison's mom
Comes every week.
Good.
Her brother's coming.
Fantastic.
So, I mean, a family, we want that to come for Sunday
And
services.
you need that support. You do need that support and encouragement to keep doing what you're doing and stuff, because that's honestly all they can give, because it is really on you to not only take the program on head on, but also live it and breathe it. Again, you can rip a patch off, but you can't wear it
Right.
off. So,
and, you know, the ladies that don't have nothing, we're looking for volunteers and big sisters to be that somebody to support. Some of our ladies, they get phone calls, but they don't have nobody to call.
Yeah.
Nobody on that other end to give them that extra positive that they need. We also, after ours is a program is 5 to 8 weeks. It's called the First Roots Crisis Intervention. After that, they can go to our full year to 15-month program in Louisville, and they can stay on, and we would love to hire them, train them to where they could be the next director and take my job.
or mentor. Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely. So we started out the show, we talked about baling wire and duct tape, and there is a lot of baling wire. Folks, if you don't know what that means that they are using everything they can to hold this thing together in order to support these young ladies. And you have how many in the program right now?
4. We can take
4.
another one Sunday.
Okay, so that'll be the 4th or the 5th?
5th.
Okay,
Fifth
so
one.
they'll have 5 people. It's $1,700 a month to run the program per person. That they cook their own food.
Yes.
We took lots of pictures, so we hope to run a story on this next week in the newspaper for our newspaper readers that don't really get into the digital stuff. But so I like to be able to bring multiple venues to the community just so we can share this story. Abby and Allison, I mean, you have fantastic stories. I know we only grazed the surface of it. And I hope to do more of these just to bring more attention and progress as how you're doing in the program. I'm super excited. You guys are really right down the road from me. So if there's ever an emergency, I'll come loaded to help fend off any wanderers or stuff that happens. And I know that our county sheriff is right around the corner.
Absolutely.
And they've got your back there too. So, but super excited for what is happening with our Brandenburg Outreach Center, helping the women of not only Brandenburg and Meade County, but all over, who are looking for a process by which they can refine themselves and redefine themselves. And it's got cross. And there's ways you can donate. So don't make it baling wire and duct tape for these folks. If you go to teenchallengeky.com/give, that's teenchallengeky.com/give. Those donations go to these young ladies and the organization. It goes to the organization Brandenburg Outreach in order to support their journey all the way to its finish, and to be, to wear off that badge that they've put on themselves in order to redefine who they are and how they support our community in the future. And I promise you, they are committed. And April, you're doing a phenomenal job. Tell us more about folks. These programs are going away.
Yes.
They're closing down. A lot of folks were opening these places and helping as a nonprofit, but that's not going to get to happen anymore in Kentucky unless they're a certified organization. The Brandenburg Outreach is a certified organization. They're licensed by the Adult and Teen Challenge of Kentucky. So there are several other neighboring locations that will no longer be open after the 1st of this year. In fact, we will be one of the very few organizations open in order to support this drug addiction problem or alcoholism problem in our state for women.
And we don't take insurance. So if you have no insurance, come on, because we don't take it anyway.
And We don't turn nobody away.
No.
Like it says $1,700 a month per person, but you can sign. Like I'm not paying to be here. Sponsors are paying for me to be here. You know, they're like, she's got 3 kids, she can't afford this.
Yeah.
You know, so
But what does she do? What is the alternative if you don't have the money and you don't have the insurance? You go back to doing drugs? No, we don't need that, people. We need the donations. We need the donations to support programs like this. There's only 2 programs that support the rehabilitation of addiction and or incarceration, and that is your program and Sierra's House in the county. I would love for us to grow this program so that we can branch off into a male program separate from the women's program, because we have that problem with men as well as women. And, you know, I would love us to be able to retrain some men that are probably addicts that are also abusive in nature and need to learn how to have relationships too and how to treat people. But and oftentimes that's the way it is. But it's also 2 ways. Sometimes it's the woman against the man.
It is.
Especially with the addiction. But
And right now, we do have Chad's Hope that works with us. It's in Manchester, Kentucky.
Very
They do
good.
not turn nobody away either. Theirs is the long-term program. They can do short as well, but they do have the full-time. So right now, if you need help and you're a male, we can get you to where you need to be until we can get a program here in the county also.
if you think you need help and you are hearing this story today, and even if you're scared or embarrassed, grab the phone and call 270-941-0000. 270-941-0000. It will change your life.
Amen.
You don't have to struggle. You can call them for help. Who are you going to call? No, it's not Ghostbusters. It's the Brandenburg Outreach. And that's 270-941-0000. If you're watching this program, want to know more about the Brandenburg Outreach, licensed by the Adult and Teen Challenge, go to www.teamchallengeky.com. And if you'd like to give, hit that /give or hit that give button on the main page and make a contribution that lasts. You know, you see Tunnels to Towers and all kinds of other things that are $11 a month or $11 a week. You know, they'll buy a veteran a home or an injured veteran, all that stuff. But for, you know, a few dollars a week from enough people, we can help these young ladies in this program thrive so that we can make them not only better citizens in the community, but help them recover.
Absolutely.
Help them recover and discover, and with God behind every step of the way.
Absolutely.
So for all my Christian friends out there and Christian neighbors, I tell you that God is involved in our community and the kingdom is growing. And with your donations, it can grow even greater.
Absolutely. And with him, you can do anything's possible with God.
That's right. Absolutely. And our live studio audience back there, they're in the program too. Soon we'll have them on the show, but let me hear a big shout out. Woo! Yeah, they're back there. So I think, April, if there's anything else that you want to say, this is the time to say it.
If you need help, reach out. We are here to help you. And if you have the time to give, say you can learn how to teach somebody how to cook, come do a life class with us and get involved. Help these ladies. We are gardening. We are planting the seeds to show them that God grows new things. All things are new with God. We need anyone. We need volunteers. You want to come in and teach an organization class? Come in and teach them. Some of these ladies have never cooked, never cleaned, never done nothing for themselves. We need everyone to step up and make that happen. Thank you. And please continue to pray for all of our ladies.
Well, April, I couldn't have said it any better. And I just want to thank to our listeners who will watch this all the way through. I know it's usually at pillow time when you got the iPad up and you're watching this. I hope this resonates with you, because it does with me. And our community is better for it. So
yes.
Thank you to all the many wonderful organizations, Journey Church, and to you, the Brandenburg Outreach and the Adult and Teen Challenge for licensing us and getting this thing off the ground. Abby, Allison, tremendous story. I'm so proud of you guys. You keep going. And all of my studio audience today, I'm just super excited for the journey you're on. This is the Meade Messenger it's the Messenger KY, and you're right here live in the Messenger Studios. Thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.